Hi, everyone. This is Betsy Kreider with Be Creative Stamping, and I'm so glad you're joining me. Uh, I tried this last year and I got like 2 months in, and then it just kind of, life just kind of got in the way. So it's 2024 and it's time to wipe that slate clean and try again. So welcome to my monthly club video. This is a goal for me is that every month I post this video and premiere this video on my YouTube channel, sharing link to Facebook, things like that. But it's a premiere on the second Wednesday of every month where I showcase what I did in club this month with the ladies. I have three in-person clubs where we do three projects, and I wanted to show you what we do. This is also great for those that might be long distance, that might still want to be a part of my club. I have different ways you can do it. You can be part of a host club where you place a minimum order for a minimum number of months, and you get to, at some point, you get to be the hostess and get hostess rewards. There's that way. That's number one. Number two is Stamp Club, where it's just you place a minimum $30 online order using a Stamp Club code. And then I can either send you the packets or I can send you the completed cards. So the cards that I'm showing you tonight, for example, if you place an order, this is all going to be starting in February. But those that placed orders in January, keep an eye out in your mailbox. You might be getting a little something from me. But this is officially starting as of February, is that you have different different club options. If you place a minimum order, then you can get these projects for free. So, and I can either send the packets where you can make the projects at home, or I can make the projects for you and they'll be completed projects. Just be aware that if I send you the packet, I can't stamp any of the images because Stampin' Up! Doesn't allow that. Due to their copyright laws. So just want to make sure you're clear on that. But anyway, my goal is not to have these videos be super long. My goal is just to be able to show you what we're doing this month, have you see the cards we made, and share some tips and ideas and just creativity with you. So I'm going to switch you down to my desktop here. I'll just keep me on camera, but I'll let you see my desktop a little bit closer. So this is using I wanted to also show that we have the new catalogs that just came out, the spring and the spring and the celebration catalogs just went live on January 4th. If you do not have those catalogs, please reach out to me and let me know. I'd be happy to send you a set. During celebration, it's the best time to join. Celebration is the most fantastic time to join to be a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator because they have such great incentives. One of them is you can get $30 worth of free product. So it's $125 worth of product for only $99. And you can add another $30 worth of free product if you like, or you can select this glass mat option. The glass mat comes like this, and you can see I have a little bit of vellum on in certain spots, only because of with recording and videoing, with my lights, there's a glare. So that's the only reason I have that on there. Otherwise, it is perfectly fine. You'll just see that I have like an overhead light that I didn't want to show you. You didn't need to look at that. So I just put a little piece of vellum over that to hide that. But you can see that this is a 14 by 18, I believe, inch glass mat. It is tempered glass. It's got some feet on the bottom that keep it from moving, so it's not sliding, even though I'm kind of pushing on it and trying, it's not moving. It is very weighted. It has the measurements right on it, so if you're measuring quickly, you can see the measurements all along the sides. It's a nice grid for lining up your stamps. It's great for blending or watercoloring or stamping off because you can just wipe it clean. Speaking of wiping it clean, it comes with two accessories. One of them is like a little chamois cloth. It's a little bit thinner than our regular chamois. It's more like a cloth, and again, it can dry really hard like our chamois do, or you can keep it moist and keep it like I'm keeping it right now in this little container just to kind of keep it that way. And then it also comes with this nice little I guess is it like a silicone little mat? But you see how once I put it on there, it doesn't move, right? It is solid. It's a nice thing to kind of like put in the corner of your glass and use that for watercoloring. You could brush your brush against this edge to get like paint off or color off. This holds these little containers here exactly hold one of our ink spots. So if you have some ink spots that you want to pull from, you can have them hold that. It's just a nice little thing for holding embellishments. As a matter of fact, I might use mine here later because I have a couple of little embellishments I'm using with my one card. So it's just a really nice mat that you can kind of move and reposition. And it comes with the glass mat along with the cleaning cloth. And that's part of this celebration deal that's going on right now. And that's in the back of the celebration catalog. I am very famous for saying celebration, which I know it's like fingernails on a chalkboard for people because it's not celebration, it's celebration. So I'm trying to very enunciate the sale part of that because it is celebration, and I'm caught frequently on saying celebration. So just wanted to throw that out there. All right, so let's get started. One of the things that I wanted to show in my clubs because this is a bundle that you really kind of need to see in action, and it's actually what we're using in my Stamp It Your Way kit this month. So Stamp It Your Way is a class kit that I do every month. It starts on the 1st of the month, runs till the 10th. So today, when this premieres on January 10th, it will be the last day that you can sign up for this Stamp It Your Way bundle, Stamp It Way Your class. Stamp It Your Way is where you get card kits it'll make 8 cards. So there'll be 4 different designs. You make 2 of each. We also include products. So you also get, like this month, you're going to get a full pack of designer series paper. You're getting a full pack of embellishments and a full pack of the twine that coordinates with it. So you have plenty of product to be able to continue to make different projects at home with using what you're getting in your kit. And I can actually show you here quickly the cards that we are doing this month in the Stamp It Your Way. So there's one of them. Here is another. And then here's one. And you see how they have like little open here, pull. This one has a pull. This one says here, pull, pull, pull. So what it happens with this Hooray for Surprises is that it's an interactive die set. And I'll be premiering my Stamp It Your Way video at the end of the month. That always premieres on the last Wednesday of the month. So be sure and subscribe to my YouTube channel if you have not already done so that you make sure you get notification on those. I'm not going to go into a lot of detail on this because I do cover a lot of that in my Stamp It Your Way video at the end of the month. But if you have questions on this, let me know. But it's an interactive die set. So what happens is that it has movement. So when your guest or when your friend gets this card, when they get this card, what they're going to do is they're going to pull this tab, and behind it, it's going to reveal something, a stamped image, a stamped saying, something that you've put behind that image is going to be revealed there. And we're going to do a card showing you kind of how to do that tonight. So this is the Hooray for Surprises. I'm using this for the first card, and I'm going to use some of the greetings for the second card. I do really like this set, even if it's not just even for the interactive dies. The dies kind of have like a little perforation on them so that they, when they cut, they don't cut completely out. They just kind of create a perforation so that they can be pulled later. So this is Hooray for Surprises. So let's go ahead and do the first card. I am going to bring in a piece of scrap paper just to kind of have on hand. So here's what we did in club this month. This is the first card we did. And it's kind of a little bit of a case on the catalog. If you'll look at the spring catalog, there's actually a sample in there that kind of uses these cakes this way. And then we have, of course, our stamped inside to match. So let's go ahead and make this card. So in this card, what we've got, and I'm not going to do a lot of die cutting when we're doing these videos. I'm going to assume that most people kind of know how to do that. And it's going to be one of those things that if you have questions, please let me know. This is kind of, again, what we've covered in club. And if you have any questions, I'm available. So here is the what we have here. We have 2 pieces. This is a 3x5 piece of paper, and I gave everybody 2 of these. And the reason being is because with these dies, it's good to create a template because that's what we're going to end up stamping through is this template. So with the die set, what I want to use is this long It looks like kind of like a caterpillar a little bit. We're going to use this long die and we're going to put this here, but we're going to cut through both at the same time. So when then I run this through my die cutting machine, this is what I'm going to end up getting. All right, so I'm going to die cut both of those at the same time. I'll get 2 of them. The top one is going to be my template. The bottom one is going to be my card front. Okay, so if you want to, sometimes you can write template on this or put a little mark on it to know that this is your template. And in this case, because I know it's my template, I can go ahead and pull it. So this is the action that's going to happen whenever the person, the recipient gets your card. They're going to be able to pull this back and they're going to be able to reveal what's behind it. So this piece I'm just going to throw away for now, but this is my template and this is my card front. And I'm going to bring in my card base here. So I'm using Berry Burst. Here's the Berry Burst cardstock. Don't you love this color? I was so glad when they brought it back. I'm going to do that. I'm going to take a quick drink here. All right. I also have an envelope, which we're going to stamp here in a second, and I have a piece for the inside. Excuse me. What you want to do is you want to stamp your little cakes, and I'm stamping those 3 times. I'm going to stamp them with Berry Burst. I'm going to do it with Coastal Cabana, and then I'm also doing it with Petal Pink. And then once you've stamped those, you want to go ahead and die cut those out so that you get those 3 little cakes. And when you're die cutting, go ahead and die cut also little flowers to coordinate with them. All right. And that's again in the die set. So that is already pre-done for me. I already have that done. I have my template. I have my front. Here is going to be a piece for my inside. And then I also have some of the gorgeously made designer series paper. And it goes in the Masterfully Made suite, which is in the main catalog. And I've got a 1/2-inch piece and an inch piece. And this is actually going to go on my front. And I lied. I need a second piece of this. Give me 1 second. I need 2 pieces because I actually need a piece for the front. And that's what we're going to do now. This is the piece that's going to end up being my front. So I'm going to use the 1-inch piece at the top. Okay. So in Club, they would have stamped their little cakes and die cut those. And then on this piece, I'm putting on the designer series paper there. And I'm also going to put this one. Yeah, I'm going to put this one at the bottom. I'm just using a little liquid glue. I always find liquid glue a little bit more forgiving. It allows me to shift it into position or where I want it to be. So there's my card front that's going to be started. But I have this piece that I've die cut that's going to overlap it. So it's going to go right on there like that. Okay. But I want to stamp my greeting down here. So I'm going to be stamping the saying. Did I get it out yet? Maybe I didn't. I don't think I did. You are simply amazing. So I need to grab that stamp and a block. So I'm going to do you are simply amazing. And I want to be able to stamp that on this piece, but I want to have it in a way so that it's going to be behind where this is going to flow, right? So this is where my template comes in. So what I want to do is I want to line the template up and I'm going to go right in the middle. So I'm going to imagine this is my card front and I'm putting my card together and this is going right in the middle. Let me bring that down just a little bit. And there's my card front. And I'm going to stamp my greeting right in that opening. So I'm going to stamp here with the you are simply amazing. I'm going to lean in here a little bit and I'm going to go about center right through the hole of my template so that there is my greeting. Now, if I look at it, it's just right there on my card base and my template is now kind of done. I don't really need it anymore, but this is going to now be behind this. So when I put it together, Now, if you're thinking to yourself, are you sure that that's behind there? Well, first of all, if that was centered and this is centered, then I feel pretty confident that it is. But here's a little trick for you. If you have a light, and especially when you were working with basic white on basic white, this actually works pretty well. I'm going to bring in a little light. And this is a little, I'm going to blind you here for a second. So I apologize for the glare. But what I want to do, whoops, is can you see through it? See how it's showing me right there where it's going? So if you have a light or a light table or hold it up to a light above your head, you can kind of see exactly where that's going to fall so that you know if you have it going in the right position. So in this case, what I want to do is I'm going to go ahead and put some liquid glue on this. And when I adhere this, I don't want to put any liquid glue on the pull part or any adhesive on the pull part. So I'm going to go around it. I'm going to go in front of it and behind it. And then I'm going to go here, right? Because I don't want it on that pull part. I want it to be able to be pulled. So I'm going to start in the center because I know that's where my piece is going to go. But then if just to double check it, as I use that liquid glue to kind of position it and shift it where I want it to be, I can make sure by keeping it over the light that that's going to go exactly where I want it to go. See that? Just a little bit of a tip on a reveal there. Otherwise, your templates should line up for you right away. You should be good to go. So there's my card front. I'm going to go ahead and use some dimensionals to add on my little, what did I do with them? They're around here somewhere. There they are. I'm going to use some dimensionals on the backs of my little cakes. And I'm going to start with the berry burst one right in the middle. And you can kind of count through, or you can see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Imagine that's 10. So I know if I go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, kind of about right there is going to be center. You can kind of use that as your guide a little bit if you want to. I'm going to more of a wing it and just it looks good kind of girl. So I'm going to put that on there. And there are my cakes for on my front. I'm going to add this to my card base, and I did use some dimensionals on the back of this to pop this up. So are you intrigued by this set? Do you think this is a set you might be interested in? It definitely is it's a very different set than anything that I think Stampin' Up! Has kind of had before. So I'm excited about it. Hold on one second. I need to grab my glue dots. I'm just adding the little flowers with a glue dot. And you can mix and match these. So I kind of like them on the same color as what they were, but you could mix and match them if you wanted to. If you wanted to put the pink on the berry, or if you wanted to put the coastal on a different one, you could definitely do that. Oh, one last thing I forgot to do is I forgot to stamp the open here. Do you see it? Now I have a dimensional on there, but I think we might be able to still make that work. So let me get, did I pull that out? I did pull that out. So open here. I'm going to go ahead and do again with the berry burst. And let's, fingers crossed, I can get this to go. I'm going to press a little hard there. Oh, that's not too bad. There we go. So I would do that definitely before you put it together, because the dimensional could mess with you. So make sure you put the open here on there beforehand. And then that part, they know then that they can just pull and they'll be able to see and reveal. So for the inside, what I wanted to do was I wanted to stamp the little cake. And I know I got stamps out, but I'll tell you what, they are just disappearing on me this evening and not being where I think they should be. I'm using Petal Pink. Here's one of the features of the glass mat that I really like. Typically when I'm using a photopolymer stamp, I would need a mat, like a cushion, some sort of a mat underneath me for stamping. Well, the great thing about this glass mat is it is such a hard surface. I don't need that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to ink my stamp here with my Petal Pink. The vellum's going to throw me a little bit, but so I'm going to bring this back just a little bit for me. And I'm going to stamp my cake right in the center. But the nice thing is that I don't need a mat now with this glass mat because I can get such a nice solid background. I'm going to do Hope It Your Birthday is Wonderful. So I'm inking that with the Berry Burst, and I'm going to ink that right over top of my cake like that. And because it needs just a little bit of, because we're using all these colors, we might as well stamp everything to kind of mix and match. So I'm using Coastal Cabana to add a couple little flowers. Isn't that cute? I love it when an inside comes together. I really do. It's kind of silly, but if my inside looks as good as my front, I'm a happy girl. I'm going to add some adhesive, and there is my inside. And of course, an envelope to kind of match it. So again, I'm going to use the cake. I'm going to stamp that on with some Petal Pink. And I'm going to again stamp one of the little flowers. And that time I just put it off right on the side of the cake like that. Isn't that cute? And then the last thing I did for this was I did use the iridescent pearls, the iridescent basic pearls. And I used 3 of those just because we always need a little bit of bling. So I'm going to put a little pearl in the center of the flower of each of our little cakes, just like that. And that is the first card for Club right there. Nice and easy. So let me clean this up here a second, and let me get these ink pads out of here so I don't put my hands in them. I was doing a video earlier today, and I had red everywhere. It was not pretty. Okay, so let me get rid of these stamps because I don't need those anymore. And I don't need that one anymore. Just move those out of the way. Perfect. All right. So this card is then done. So that was card number 1 that we did for Club. All right. So that was card number 1. Card number 2 is using some of that most adored DSP. It's most adored. It is the Celebration paper, and it has that gold accent to it. It's beautiful. One side is all like flirty flamingos and sweet sorbets and reds, and the other side has this gold overlay. And this is one of those pieces to that. And for this one, I gave choice at Club what they wanted to do. I'm going to keep it simple tonight, but at Club, I gave them choice. And I said, you can always color this. So when you're looking at this, you're thinking, okay, it looks very plain. But the nice thing is that with our blends, you can always bring in and color the images so that the gold still shines. It gives it a nice shine, but then you can color it in. So like this one is using, oh my goodness, Misty Moonlight. The light Misty Moonlight is the dark centers of the flowers. Okay. And then it's a dark Pool Party for the outer part of the flowers. And then of course, Old Olive for the leaves. And I used a Misty Moonlight ribbon on this, and that's sending you lots of love. You can kind of see how that coordinates. So that was one of the color choices they had. Another one was Balmy Blue or Boho Blue. I think I had Boho Blue ribbon, but we were using a Balmy Blue marker, which, it doesn't look half bad. They look pretty good together. I don't think I had a Boho Blue marker at the moment. So that kind of gives you an idea. And again, I kind of stamped the greeting of what we want. So this one says, "Hope your birthday is wonderful." This one is the Moody Mauve. I love this when look at how pretty that is when the gold shimmers. Look how pretty that is, right? It kind of looks really weird when you look at it this way, but once you tilt it, it just gives it such a wow factor. So this was the Moody Mauve, and they could choose that one, or they could do Petal Pink. And the Petal Pink is so soft. But the nice thing about this is that you don't have to color it. Some people don't like to color. I get that. So you also have an option of not coloring it. And I think it's just as pretty not colored. So I'm going to do it this way because I don't want to waste your time tonight watching me color. I think you kind of know how to do that. But I'd be happy to do anything like that if you want me to kind of do that in a class sometime, I'd be happy to show you how to color. So I'm using an Old Olive base here. I have my bone folder. And I have my 4x3 designer series paper. If you ever want to get the most out of your designer series paper, cut it into 4x3. 4x3 means you'll use every single piece of it. It'll be perfect size. So in this, I want this to go on my front. All right, but I'm going to tie some ribbon around here first. And I am using, even though this is white, I'm going to use the natural ribbon, which is the center stripe ribbon. And this is in pecan pie. It has a pecan pie kind of down the center. And I'm going to tie this in a quick little knot here. So I'm just tying my little knot. And then once I get that where I want it, then I can adjust it. So don't try to like put the knot in the perfect place to begin with. Just tie it and then adjust as needed. I'm going to bring my scissors in. And for anybody that doesn't know, I have two pairs of scissors. I have one that have a piece of red ribbon on them and one that does not. The red ribbon is for ribbon. It kind of keeps those ones nice and sharp for me. Okay. So anyone that attends my clubs will see that. They'll be like, oh, the red ones are for red ribbon, or red is for ribbon. We're gonna add some dimensionals to the back of this. Pop this up. This card comes together very quickly, especially if you're not coloring it. If you were coloring it, it would take a little bit longer to color in all those images. I'm just gonna keep it simple this evening. And I'm gonna put this on my card front, so I'm just centering that right there. Now, I already did the die cutting on this, and this is actually using one of the new die cuts. It's a bundle called Thoughtful Expressions. I love this. It does have a hummingbird in it. I don't have the stamp set here in front of me, but it's the Thoughtful Expressions, and I love how these nested dies go together. And we use this one to die cut this image for the front for our greeting. And the greetings that come in this are perfect. Fit this perfectly as far as sending you lots of love. And I think that's the one I like. And I'm going to use that one now. So I'm going to do sending you lots of love. And I am using Old Olive in this case. Now, if I were coloring it, I kind of mixed and matched my greeting colors, depending on the colors that I colored the flowers. But in this one, I'm going to use Old Olive. Bring this in. I'm gonna have to find a new place for that light. I think it's the overhead light that's giving me that big glare right there. So we'll have to see how that works as we move forward. This is a trial and error for me, folks. So I appreciate your patience as I learn how to do these videos and what works and what people like to see and what they don't. We'll figure it out together. I'm gonna add a couple dimensionals to the back of this. You could put it flat. I think on my sample, I did put it flat. I had already die cut a couple of the leaves. So I'm going to use the dimensionals on the back to kind of help me hold those in place. I'm going to go over to this side with this one like that. And then I'm going to add this to my front as well. Right there. So there's my greeting on the front. Nice and easy. Now I love a stamped inside. So I couldn't really find anything that really matched with that. So I went back to the Artistically Inked, which is such a pretty set. And it had a nice leaf pattern in it. So I'm going to use that leaf set with that leaf stamp with my Old Olive. But any floral image that you have would work. I just went with the green of the Old Olive to match my card base. Easy. Move this out of the way. Here's my inside. See how fast this card went together? It's so pretty. It's got that gold accent in the paper. That is free this month and next month. While supplies last, it's free during celebration. That you can get that paper, or if you sign up for my Stamp It Your Way class, it actually is included in your class kit for the Stamp It Your Way. There's card number 2. Actually, we need a little bit of bling on this. So I was using the 2023, 2025 in color dots. And wild wheat is one of my new favorite colors. I cannot stop using it because to me it's a gold. And it gives a gold accent to whatever I'm doing. And it is perfect for that. So I haven't been using it really as a yellow. I've been using it more as a gold. So I'm going to take off some embellishments here to add, oops, right there. And let's do one down here. There we go. Perfect. So there is card number 2. All right. So my goal for club is to kind of do one that's like one card that's really technique driven, like the cakes. To do that more technique where I'm teaching you how to use something, how to use new product, or do a certain technique or a fancy fold or something like that. And then the next 2 cards, just because when we're in person, we got to try to get them all done and within a certain time amount. We don't have all night, so do one card that's more technique driven and then 2 cards that are relatively easy. And that one was relatively easy. Would be a very quick, fast, produce multiples of it easily. This next card is very similar to that. You could produce this very quickly. And I love this card. I cased this card. I can't remember who I cased it from. I apologize. I did case this card from someone. I just can't remember. And I just love it. I love everything about it. The Flight and Airy paper is another one of the celebration papers that is available this month, the Flight and Airy. And it's just got such a watercolory look to it. It's very, very pretty. So in this card, what we're doing is we have our card base, which is a basic white 4 1/4 by 11. I'm not much for scoring, so just warning you now, I tend not to score because when I score wrong. I don't know why. So it's usually I'm score challenged, so I tend to avoid it. Um, for this one, I have a piece of the designer series paper that's going to go on our front. Now, a lot of people were like, oh no, it's so pretty. They didn't want to cover up this side. It's so pretty with the little birds on there, right? So that would be pretty as a perfect little card front as well. But we're going to use this background piece. So bye-bye, little birdies. We're going to cover you up. And this is going right here in the center. And I'm just lining it up with a little bit of a border on either side of my card front. And I find if I don't cut it quite right, if it overlaps a little bit, I can always get that with my scissors. So there is my card front. And then I have my designer series paper that I want to put on, and that's going to go right over top of that. I'm going to add this piece. And that again is centered. I love the fact that the glue allows me to adjust it a little bit and move it around. And I do think I might need to trim that up a little bit. So, which is easy to do. I just flip it upside down and then run my scissors right down the edge. And that'll cut off any little extra that I have there that I didn't mean to have. So there's my card front. I have a piece for the inside and I have an envelope, and I wanted to do a little bird, and we do have a new stamp set that has a bird in it, but it's kind of big. So, and I wanted something a little softer and a little smaller. So I did bring in, this is the Nested Friends set. This one's been in the annual catalog for a little while. It's got this cute little bird here, so I'm going to use that guy. And I'm using Bubble Bath as my color. You could also get away with Fresh Freesia in this, but I'm going to use Bubble Bath. And I'm going to stamp my little bird for my inside. And I'm going to go ahead and do that also for the corner of my envelope. Right, like that. So there's my envelope done. Here's my inside piece. I like it whenever, especially if you have a white card base, I like it if I have a piece of cardstock in the center to coordinate with it. I feel like it just gives it a completed look. It makes the card look finished. And it also ties everything together when your colors from the inside lead to the colors on the, or from the outside lead to the inside. There you go. Perfect. So there's my front and there's my inside. And then the last thing we want to do is we want to add our greeting. Now I did use the Radiating Stitches dies. This is part of like the online exclusives. These were offered, I think, in the first round of online exclusives. They are still available on the online store. They are the cutest little thing. They have this nice wide stitching on them, and I just really like that look. So that is one that I already did, and that's going to end up going on the front, but I'm going to stamp my greeting on this little piece here. And I'm using the Heartfelt Hellos. This is also a celebration set. It's got a lot of really nice greetings in it, and I'm going to stick with hello on this one, but it would be a really cute Mother's Day. Just don't know. Mother's Day might fit on there now that I'm looking at it. It would be close. But I'm going to go ahead and stick with hello in this case. So it's got a nice, quite a few nice greetings in that. And I'm going to do hello, and I'm going to just stay with my bubble bath color here. And this piece, I'm just going to stamp hello right there. This is going to layer on here, but I want to get my ribbon on first. So here's what I did with my ribbon is I have the ribbon, which, do I have this in front of me? I do not. I do not have the spool in front of me. It's in the annual catalog. I believe it is a, oh, it's got a name. It's got a just a certain kind of name, and I can't remember what it is now. It's the pattern of the, shoot. Let me grab it. Hold on. Hold on. Live television, folks. By the way, I will not be editing these videos. So as I screw up, you'll be screwing up with me because I don't know how to edit videos. So when I have a video up, it is live, folks. Herringbone, that's what I was trying to think of. Herringbone ribbon. It's 3/4 of an inch. Of course, it's basic white. So that is what I'm using here. But I want to have it kind of have like this piece sandwiched between my white ribbon. So I want it to kind of be like that is what I want. So I'm going to keep that kind of looped over, and I'm going to add some adhesive. I'm using my seal on this. Typically I'm a liquid glue girl, but seal works really well when I'm working with ribbons. So I'm going to use the Stampin' Seal. And I kind of know where I'm going for halfway. And I'm going to stick that down. I'm going to stick that down in the middle. There we go. Just double check it. Make sure you're still about halfway there. You are. It looks good. Don't worry if it's not exact. And I'm going to add another piece of Stampin' Seal across the front. Come here. So that I get this. It just helps to hold it together so that now I can do my ends right here. And I'm bringing in a little bit of linen thread, and I'm going to run that underneath both pieces. And now I'm going to tie a bow. So I'm going to just gently kind of pull those together like that. And then I'm going to tie my bow. You could tie a knot if you wanted to. If you are uncomfortable with bows, or bows are not your thing, I totally get it. I'm going to go ahead. A knot is definitely just as good. And I'm going to trim up my extra. Now there's my greeting for the front. Isn't that pretty? I just think that gives it such a feminine look. And I had my greeting with the hello. Oh, there it is. I'm going to go ahead and put this on the front using dimensionals. Let me know what you think of that vellum there. Is it kind of distracting? Is it working? It's throwing me a little bit, but I'm not quite sure how else to get rid of that glare that's over my head. I don't know that the glass, I love the glass mat, but I don't know if it's great for videoing. So I'll have to figure that part out. All right, so there's my greeting for the front, just like that. And then I want to put this on my card front. So I'm going to go ahead and use, I'm going to stick with the stamp and seal since it's right here in front of me. I'm going to put one right down that ribbon as well. Now, depending on the designer series paper you're using, and I'm going to show you here, did I have it out? Here's, you can see they had choice of paper that they wanted to use. So depending on the paper, depended on where you put your greeting, because you might have a little birdie that you want to show through, right? So I wanted this little guy down here to show, so I put my greeting up a little bit more, whereas I wanted this little guy to show, so I brought my greeting down a little bit more. There's no right way or wrong way to do this. You can make it match whatever way works best for you. I like that little guy there, so I'm gonna make it so that he's peeping out here. So I'm gonna put my greeting right there. Now my ribbon is a little long, so I'm just going to trim that up. And don't worry if it overhangs some, because when you go to put that in your envelope, it'll kind of bunch up a little bit when it goes in, but it should be fine. There we go. Trim that up a little bit. And there is my third card. So there we go. So my goal is to stay within 45 minutes to an hour to try to show you all 3 cards and what we did in club. I'm going to bring you back to me here for a second. Just to show you what we did in club, show you what projects we made. Hopefully you get some inspiration. And I get to, I get to stamp with you guys. So that's the goal, is for you guys to see me and what I do and get to know me a little bit more. And if you want to shop with me online, that would be great. Be sure again to subscribe to my YouTube channel. That I'm very grateful for that as well. Reach out to me if you have any questions. Again, these are for the Januaries, but effective February, I will be doing, if you're interested in any of these, it's placing an online order. Starting in February, I will be sending out packets, but my goal is the second Wednesday of every month, I will premiere a video that shows you what I did in club that month. And hopefully you'll join me again. Thanks a lot, everybody. Have a fantastic day and a fantastic winter. Stay warm. Okay, bye, everybody.